Hey, it's the Tesseract mailbox, and today we have a letter from Matt, and Matt writes in, "Where did all the demonette boobies go?" That's basically what he's asking. He says, "Hello there. Why do you think they took nudity out of Warhammer? I'm not one to whack it to tiny miniatures, so it's not a kink or anything, but my old demonettes have their breasts exposed. Do you really think it's to appeal to kids? And do you think it's working? Now that we have no nudity, do you think that it's more palatable to parents than when it had nudity? I don't know. It seems like it has just dumbed down the source material." Matt. Well, Matt, we're all very concerned about the lack of demonette boobies. I'm just messing with you. Yeah, actually, I think it's probably a positive. And the reason why is that number one, I was always a little irritated that there's so much more to Slanesh, the whole excessive side of Slanesh, than just like sex. So I really don't think it's necessary to have boobs on demonettes and have like nipples showing. I don't think that's really necessary at all. I don't think it's like the worst thing in the world if they did, but I also see that they're trying to appeal to a broader audience. Whether or not that works, whether or not they're getting more children in, I can't really tell you. But I can tell you that there is a certain portion, an unknown certain portion of parents that are much happier with the nudity being out of the game, and I would be one of them as well, I suppose. I mean, I think most parents, including myself, try to like avoid sex scenes in TV shows and movies when you're watching stuff with their kids. Um, Miniatures to me is a little bit different, but of course, obviously, genital nudity is a lot different than a nipple too. But I can't believe I'm even discussing this. But uh, I think overall it's a positive. I don't know how many more children have gotten into the hobby, so I don't know if it's actually worked. I also don't really agree with you necessarily about dumbing down the source material. I kind of get what you're saying because if you allow like gore and sexuality and things like that, it does make it more adult and it does make it a slightly more realistic. But I think Games Workshop, especially now that it has shareholders and all that, I think that they really need to try to sell as many miniatures to as many people as possible. So they try to stay gritty where they can. I'm pretty sure the Fiends of Slanesh still have some boobs, but I don't think they have nipples. They have like half a row of boobs. So I think they're keeping up with some of that. I think us Demonettes and Slanesh in general usually were like half male, half female. Like it would have a row of boobs, and then on the other side it would have like a breastless portion, like a half man, half woman. And I just think all in all, I think it's kind of uncalled for to have nipples showing on miniatures. I just don't. It's always I personally, if you like it, then that's totally fine. Like everyone's got their own thing, and I don't. I would not like shame you for having your old demonettes on the board. I don't think that's really the case. I just think that um I think that it's not necessary for the game. If you want to paint nipples on your stuff, then go ahead and do it. And maybe that's the best of both worlds. They leave in some breasts, but they don't have nipples. You can paint them on if you want. And then the people that want nipples, then fine, you can paint nipples. The people that don't, well, then you don't have to. That's probably the best for their sales. Whether or not that's actually worked, I have no idea. We do have a 13-year-old and 11-year-old in our gaming group, so there's that. But I mean, if there were boobs on Slanesh, I don't know that their parents would care that much. I I just think it's kind of a non-issue, but I don't blame them for um betting on the side of maybe we should just take this out and then appeal to more people. I think that's probably it. I would definitely say genitals on miniatures would be way out of line. Like we truly do not need genitals on miniatures. I think that is way, way too much, and that definitely would turn parents off. So no, I don't really think it's dumbing down the source material. And I'm happy that they're expanding Slanesh to other things like Glutos Escorleon for the Hedonites of Slanesh. Where he eats a lot and all that. That's gluttonous. I'm happy that they're doing that with Slanesh instead of like that's what I always said. Everyone's like, oh, sodomy and whatever with Slanesh, haha, sex, and I'm like, well, okay, but there's other things other than sex for excess, right? You could just be compulsively doing anything. You could have a dude that counts a lot. Like I know you've got the Taliban or whatever in Nurgle, But you could just have someone that counts a lot and he just keeps records, or someone that's addicted to like drugs or just anything that's excessive. It doesn't have to be sex. So, no, I don't think that it was a bad move on their part at all to get rid of demonette boobies. And thanks for writing in, Matt. If you have any other miniature genital related questions, please write in at pimpcron@gmail.com, and I will see you on the next side of this music.